We are with Marios Lizides, the director of Wax and Feathers. Marios, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Giulia was very amused by your short film because today's theme is memory and history and reconstruction. And I think that your short film really summarizes very well these three themes. So I'll leave the word to Giulia that wants to ask you some questions.
Of course.
Okay, so first of all, nice to meet you. It's a pleasure to have you here. And I was really impressed by your work, not only because it's very personal and intimate, but because especially in the sequences that are more abstract, like symbolic, you really got something, man. Like it's really powerful. So first of all, thank you for sharing your work and your feelings with us. So I guess there is no point in asking you why did you choose this story, because it's pretty clear, right? You're trying to reconstruct a presence that is not longer there. And actually, the title of today is something very related to it. The title in Italian is La forma che passò di qui, which is like the shape that passed through here. And it's dealing exactly with this absence and how this the memory are sometimes stronger than the actual presence.
Yes.
So actually, I wanted to ask you something about it. If you feel that this is something that is related to you, and if yes, how, and I don't know, just it's yours.
Actually, I didn't choose the story. The story chose me in this scenario because it was a thesis film. And I wanted to do something about memory and dreams. So because it's a habit of mine to record my dreams, I had my dreams diary with me when I was studying. So the day that I said that I will just open my dream diary and just find something there that triggers something inside of me and work with it. And the first thing that I opened it to, just a random page, was the dream that you see in the beginning of the film. And when I read it, I just said that, okay, I have to do this. I mean, it touched me very much. I mean, most of the dream is almost word for word what I narrate in the first sequence when it's a dream, when I retell a dream.
There is a quote from an author I really like, that is David Foster Wallace. And he says that every love story is a ghost story. I think it relates a lot to the kind of feeling you give us of your father and your life and family and history in your work. And it is also clear from the way you manipulate images that there is this sort of there are these sorts of phantoms, you know, images that intertwine. I wanted to know how you worked on the images, and if it's a method you use like as an habit, or if you like experimented a form that purposely for this short film, and why.
I think with most of my films, sorry, I just put the images and they guide me. So most of the footage you see is stuff that I had already recorded for no purpose at all, and I chose to use them and edit them and tell the story with what I had already shot.
So it's kind of a use of an archive that you have created.
Yes, an archive that I made. It's not like a found footage thing. It's like it's sort of a found footage, but it's my footage.
So you have your own like habit of going around and taking images, and then you don't know what you're gonna do with them.
Yes, sort of. Yes.
Interesting. It's an interesting approach.
Sorry, I'm curious about something. Like, this is actually a curiosity, pure curiosity of mine. What is the material of these black strings that you use? Because it really looks like film, but it's not. But it really gives. It's a very strong image.
Yes. For those scenes, I was using my first camera, which I bought 20 years ago. It was a High 8. I don't know if you know them, the digital 8s.
Sure.
and the material resembles like an audio tape. And I remember when I was young, I used to see in the streets, the audio tapes got caught on various things that grow, like in the streets. And I always had the curiosity of taking them and trying to listen to them and see what they have, recorded on them. So I think that image came from that image that I had as a young kid, to find out what's inside those lost tapes or something. So what you see in the video is audio tapes that I had at home.
It's interesting that you basically are answering to every question in a similar manner. That is, it's like you're more a listener, than an actual artisan that crafts from zero. You're like gathering stuff like a satellite, and then you just follow a flow, an emotional flow, and just try to build something with it. And I'm very curious about how, if you are actually developing a method of this, or if it was only for Wax and Feathers that you did that.
After Wax and Feathers, I shot this very short film, which is like 3 minutes long, about COVID, about my experience of being in a lockdown with another person, my partner, which for me was something very difficult to process because I'm used to having a lot of time on my own. And for the same film, I had a similar process, which I used again videos that I had shot maybe 3 years ago, and I told a new story. So I think I just film whatever interests me, and I feel that every image that I film tells me something, and it can be interpreted in various ways. So I don't shoot everything. I just shoot it's the same as taking a picture, let's say. You shoot only things that interest you and speak to you. So I keep only the images that say something to me, and whenever I need to say something, I go back to those images from my archive and reuse them.
It's like if you're creating your own vocabulary.
Yes.
That's pretty interesting. And actually, I think it's really weird that this is exactly somehow involving the theme of tonight, because it's like if you are constantly going to take from your memory, and with these memories that change through time, like the meaning that they can have, you build histories, and that's beautiful in my opinion. And honestly, I would have never thought of this looking at the movie, because it seems so well constructed. Like these images really fit into the story and really bring me to the emotion you're telling. So I would have never thought that you had them already. I thought they were planned, and this is very fascinating. I think this tells a lot about the coherence that, as Andrea was saying, probably you're so good in listening yourself that you have this coherence that you bring on. But and so I wonder, what is your relationship with the stories, like with creating stories? If this is the way you picture them, how do you work? How do you process your stories?
I used to do some screenwriting in the past, and I wrote a couple of scripts, but it's a love-hate relationship with constructing the whole thing from, with actors and stuff. I have never actually done it, maybe a couple of times, but I didn't like the outcome and I never showed them or used them. But I feel more comfortable in using this kind of method. I'm also very drawn into experimental filmmakers, so maybe this is my route that I should follow.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Based on your habits, of shooting and listening to the space around you, I think it involves a lot of traveling, of going around, and having new experiences. So how did you live this year as a director, by being closed and not being able to actually go around and shoot things? Did you manage to have an archive, for example, of your house this year, or what did you shoot this year?
I think when I'm at home and I have no place to go, I go to the microscopic level, let's say, and I try to process objects in a different light, like going very close and examining it. I made this very short, like a 3-minute thing again with some filter and a reversed lens that I got from a projector and some leaves and I don't shoot my house very much. I did shoot some footage from outside the house in the streets when I was in lockdown. Yeah.
That's very interesting. I would be very curious in seeing some of these experiments.
Yeah, I'm happy to share.
But are you planning on working also on longer projects, or
I actually started another project using archive footage from Cyprus. They have this database in Cyprus where they include a lot of material from maybe 70 years ago. So I keep watching them and trying to put an edit, but I don't want to tell a story in particular. I'm just trying to leave it guide me again and see where it goes. So I think there's something very moving when you see people that are no longer alive and go on about their lives and try and change the audio and create something new, a new environment. Maybe the video, most of the videos don't have sound, so I'm trying to recreate it with Foley sounds. But it's still in an experimental phase. I still don't know where it's going to take me, but I was planning on it to be maybe a longer film, like an hour or so.
Okay. Thank you very much for telling us about how you work and how you made Wax and Feathers.
It was beautiful, really. It touched me a lot. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It was a really interesting approach, and I hope the public will enjoy your film as much as we did.
I hope so too.
And best of luck from the staff, and I hope we can see also your next films if you'd like to send it to us.
For sure, I would love it too.
Thank you so much.
Best of luck to you guys too.